बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, कैसे हैं सारे लोग। आज हम लेके आए हैं टैकल फ्रॉम बिहाइंड एंड ऑन पब्लिक डिमांड श्रुति शास्त्री वंस अगेन। क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
लेट्स गो।
कुछ नहीं, लेट्स गो।
लेट्स गो। ओके, प्रणय भाई here happens to be what?
Sorry.
Pranay bhai happens to be a football YouTuber here. I have been following him on Instagram since like couple of years, and his content is chumma. It's as good as the Athletic. It's as good as the Athletic. Pranay bhai, what would you like to say
big
about
compliments, man. Like big compliments. Because actually for YouTube in particular, I think YouTube. One of the main reason I started YouTube was because of Athletic, because Athletic, and there are a bunch of other channels, but I think primary source, a lot of people मेरे को message करते हैं कि they see somewhat of an Indian Athletic, which I see a huge difference. But still getting that connect ki people can understand that it really makes me happy and motivates me to even do better content in the future.
That's very true. That's very true. Like for Indians, we are not very much exposed to football, except for the fact that there are few people who are like hardcore football fans. We won't watch anything except for football. We know ki kya hai, kya nahi hai. But for someone who's very new to football, or say who's just starting to watch football, your channel helps them a lot. Like literally,
yeah, I mean,
helps them a lot.
The reason is actually for YouTube. The reason was actually that because on Instagram we usually post meme content, so there a lot of people, it's of a core audience where people who watch football and are very hooked to football, they get to know whatever the content that we make. But YouTube, the reason we started was because of this, because there's a very big Hindi speaking football audience that that just either they don't have much access to, they feel that it's just about, let's say, English football, or it's just about a particular segment of it. So for that is where we started making content which helps them to understand football on a very basic level. और जैसे अभी मैं इंग्लिश में बात कर रहा हूँ, but अगर मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ तो it also gives them that one-on-one feeling कि ठीक है, अगर हिंदी में बात करते हैं then I can understand it better. Some English terminologies are of course used, but जो ज़्यादा हिंदी में of course वो अगर हम उससे उसी भाषा में बात करते हैं तो it makes them feel easier. और अगर इंग्लिश में अगर और लोग कंटेंट देखते भी हैं तो बहुत टाइम ऐसा होता है कि शायद लोगों को समझ नहीं आता, सबटाइटल्स, a lot of language barrier होता है. Because I also like initially since
Extremely sorry I went. The thing is, my Wi-Fi is quite unstable right now, and
it's cool. I just completed.
Sorry.
It's probably the name.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to say that even though like what you're talking about is completely right. कि मैं ऐसे day to day अभी जैसे podcast पे even if I speak English, there are certain moments मतलब when I'm too tired and all, I can't English. रात के 9 बजे के बाद I can't English. तो तभी अगर मुझे कुछ relax देखना है तो I would prefer कि मस्त हिंदी में कुछ देखे, even if it is football. कमेंट्री ऑफ कर दो या कुछ भी करो, बट इतना फास्ट इंग्लिश प्रोसेस भी नहीं होता, वो जो फटफट बोल देते हैं ऐसे. तो there are times when you just start English and yeah, I think your channel would be very
True.
Nice and simple.
Even I'll second that, except for the fact that when Peter Drury is commenting.
Oh, that is
वहाँ खत्म है फिर.
वहाँ पे तो सारे अंग्रेजी बन जाते हैं.
Exactly. Then we turn into prime Shashi Tharoor mode, like hello generous sire, would you please tell me where the refreshments might be? ऐसे.
Of course.
Okay. Harsh Mali, what would you like to add? क्या लगता है आपको फुटबॉल के बारे में? आज आप लिवरपूल की जर्सी पहन के आए हैं तो
मैं ट्रोल करने के लिए पहना हूँ. मैं सच लिवरपूल फैन नहीं हूँ, बट ट्रोल करने के लिए पहना क्योंकि मैनचेस्टर की जर्सी पहना है ना, इसलिए. तो फुटबॉल का वही लेना देना है कि बचपन में जब स्टार्ट किया था तब फुटबॉल का इतना इंडिया में इतना था नहीं. सब लोग का ये था कि बच्चा बड़ा होएगा तो क्रिकेट खेलेगा. क्रिकेट का ही था. उसके बाद ऐसा हुआ कि जब मैं 6th स्टैंडर्ड के टाइम पे आया ना, तब बहुत नाम फेमस होने थे. मेसी का नाम फेमस हो गया था, रोनाल्डो का फेमस हो गया था, तब डेविड विला का बहुत नाम फेमस हुआ था. वो टाइम पे बहुत चला था. 11-12 के आसपास, तब से फुटबॉल खेलना चालू किया था। फुटबॉल देखना कभी इतना हुआ नहीं, अभी भी इतना नहीं देखना होता, पर खेला है बहुत। वही गली फुटबॉल, थोड़ा ऐसे चप्पल लगा देंगे अलग अलग, उसके पीछे गोल गोल पोस्ट हो गया, वही बस वही था।
True.
You know, ये बचपन के खेलने से I remember a very cute story. Not cute at all, actually. It's a very funny story. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I
हाँ
can
हाँ
hear you. Yeah.
हाँ, okay, sorry. तो बचपन में एक बार क्या हुआ था कि there were a group of boys playing football कॉलोनी में, और मेरे को उनके साथ खेलना था, पर खेलने नहीं दे थे बिकॉज लड़कियां नॉट अलाउड फॉर ऑब्वियस रीजन बचपन में। तो अब मैंने भी आई प्लेड माय मम्मी को बताऊंगी कार्ड, तो देन दे लेट मी इन। उन्होंने कहा कि ये दो गटर तुम्हारा गोल पोस्ट है, इस दोनों के बीच में बस बॉल जाने मत देना, चाहे जो हो जाए। मैंने कहा ठीक है, हम भी पूरी जान लगा देंगे कि अब इनको दिखाती हूँ कि फुटबॉल खेली कैसे जाती है हमारे। एंड देन दिस वन बॉल कम्स वेरी नैरो क्लोज टू द गटर, और मैंने कहा इसको तो मैं बचाऊंगी। मैंने पूरा स्प्लिट मारा उसको बचाने के लिए, एंड हाफ ऑफ मी इज एंटायरली इन द गटर, एंड आई हैव हिट पार्ट्स ऑफ माइंड दैट आई कांट इवन एक्सप्रेस टू दीस 7-year-old बॉयज कि मुझे कहाँ लगी है। तो फिर मैं चुपचाप उठी वहां से और रोते हुए आधे गटर के पानी से मैं घर चली गई। दैट वाज द एंड ऑफ माय फुटबॉल जर्नी।
प्रणय भाई,
Wow.
आपका क्या था?
As in like the earliest memory or like what? कि मतलब
The
ऐसे कुछ
earliest
story?
memory and how you started supporting City, obviously. How it all went.
So earliest memory to I think in football is I think the 2002 World Cup, where basically my earliest memory is I used to watch all this, like my Nanaji used to watch all the sports. So he was like a big sports lover. He used to watch all the sports. So football being one of the particular ones, football and cricket he used to watch a lot. So 2002 when I used to watch World Cup with him. So 2002 I think that's the oldest of memory that I'm watching game with him. काफी since like I'm a UP boy, so लाइट बहुत जाती थी। हाफ मतलब 15 मिनट का मैच देखा और फिर 15 मिनट में नील मैच है और 60th मिनट पे लाइट वापस आ रही है और स्कोर लाइन हो चुका है 3-0। तो दैट इज द सिचुएशन जब मैं देखता था मैच। इवन एंड उसके बाद सेम थिंग हैपेंड इन आई थिंक 2006, बट 2006 वाज द like the moment where I actually like football is something that I really love. Again 2006 वर्ल्ड कप समर वेकेशन पे होता था, सो स्कूल खत्म होते थे मार्च अप्रैल में, एग्जाम देके, सो 2 months so I've been born and brought up in Delhi, but my family lives in my nana ji and all dadaji used to live in Kanpur, so we used to travel there for 2 months and that's where the World Cup used to happen. तो वही सेम सिचुएशन होता था, रात के 1 या 1:30 बजे मैच देख रहे हो, लाइट्स आ रही है एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड मी एंड नाजी लाइक जस्ट वाचिंग, बैठ के वेट कर रहे हैं लाइट का कि लाइट कब आएगी ताकि हम वी कैन रिज्यूम द फुल मैच। कभी कभी ऐसा होता था कि फुल स्कोर लाइन भी नहीं पता चल पाती थी और सुबह फिर 6 बजे उठना पड़ता था न्यूज़पेपर पे हेडलाइन देखने के लिए कि हु एक्चुअली वॉन, is it Portugal won or Brazil won? So this is how is my initial memory, but then 2006 के बाद I really got into football because of FIFA. So I came back 2006. I got my first PC. My dad bought me a PC, and the first game that I ever played was FIFA 6. So FIFA 6 से पूरा प्यार हो गया मेरे को. I used to like game 4-5 hours I think a day. वो डैड ने तो पढ़ाई के लिए यूज कराने के लिए करा था कि कुछ सीख लेगा. आई यूज्ड टू प्ले गेम्स अगेन.
पापा पढ़ाई नाल पीसी जरूरी है.
हाँ, पापा ग्राफिक कार्ड चाहिए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है पापा, इसके बिना तो पढ़ाई हो ही नहीं
पापा
सकती.
इसके बिना पढ़ाई नहीं होती.
इसके बिना नहीं हो सकती. सो वी गॉट अ वेरी बेसिक पीसी. सो FIFA 6 इज वेयर आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग. FIFA 6, FIFA 7, FIFA 10 तक मैंने ऑल द एडिशन ऑफ FIFA खेले हैं उसी पीसी में. उसके बाद ग्राफिक कार्ड की बत्ती हो चुकी थी, तो मतलब उससे ऊपर वाले वर्जन आ नहीं पाए, तो 2 सीजन स्किप करे थे. बट देन पॉकेट मनी जोड़ी, पापा से रिक्वेस्ट करा इन सब चीजों के लिए, एंड देन आई गॉट PS3. सो आई थिंक मेजर लव आई थिंक मेरा तो स्टार्ट हुआ था बिकॉज ऑफ FIFA. हर बॉटम टीम से मैंने उनको प्रीमियर लीग चैंपियन बना रखा है. बॉटम एकदम लोएस्ट ऑफ लोएस्ट डिवीजन से भी मैंने चैंपियन बना रखा है. सो आई यूज्ड टू गेम like 6 hours every day when I used to play FIFA. Now in terms of City, what happened was there's this player called Samras, which I really used to like in City back in the day. Not a very good player, of course. He was like a very tall figure, but he was very smart, appealing, lambe baal, like John Abraham type ka look deta tha. And उस time Doom का भी fashion था. So I used to really like George Samras. He was a good player. And he used to play for City. So वहाँ से मेरा थोड़ा I started leaning towards City. I used to pick Man City because of him in the game. And then I used to again transfer सारे Ronaldinho's, Henry सब FIFA में लेकर I used to play with them. So वहाँ से फिर चालू हुआ like majorly City के लिए सब चीजें. And I think then 2009 2010 the history begins and we got taken over by our prince. Yes, Sheikh Mansour. So uske baad to then everything is just glory days, man.
United fans.
So yes, I mean, yeah. So that is the journey, man. And yeah.
Great. My football journey started as early as 2004 or 5, let's say. Those were the glory days. I mean, I'm born in 2001. I was pretty young. I didn't know what was going on the screen. I just used to see कि ये लाल jersey में क्या लड़के दौड़ रहे हैं एक दूसरे को मार रहे हैं. My granddad used to watch United play. He was a huge United fan, and he was a huge Roy Keane fan as well. And this is Mera earliest memory of starting to love United is Arsenal versus Manchester United Champions League 2008. Where Ronaldo, too far for Ronaldo to think about it, and then he scores. That was my first memory, and as you know, FIFA intensified it. Yeah, because back in the day, United used to be good. I mean, even though it's individually good right now, but we suck.
Ronaldo, Van der Sar, I mean, Evra, all those players used to. I think all of the 80-85 above players were in, I think, United only. Yes, as I can remember. Yes. So yeah.
This was 2008. I got my first PS2. I was the only kid in my entire class who had a PS2. So I used to flex a lot. कि मेरे पास PS2 में खेल रहा हूँ ऐसा वैसा and all of that. So I used to play a lot. And then what? 2013, not 2013, 2011. You remember Rooney scoring that bicycle kick overhead kick? Like goal of the Premier League. Again, then I was like, अब यही मेरी team है. यही मेरी team है.
Then Rooney left. But then Rooney left. उसके बाद. Dude, I have a huge respect for Rooney, man. He's one of my favorite players in the earliest. Like anyone asks me who's your favorite United shirt player, I always say it Rooney, man, because that guy was a beast, man. Like I really like players who are very passionate. He's always passionate. I've never seen him. Even he was like in his late 30s. The passion and the commitment he had for the club was just purely amazing. So he's one of, in fact, my favorite players in United. So yeah.
The thing is Rooney was at one time he was considered as one of the best players in the world besides Messi and Ronaldo. There was a time when people in United used to consider that Rooney is a better player as compared to Ronaldo. But it's of course. It's just the fact that he didn't have the work ethic, or maybe there were things going wrong in his life. I cannot comment about them because I don't know. But anyway, he did achieve a lot though. He did achieve a lot. The case with Rooney is like what could have been. At the same time, he achieved everything he could have done at club level, but still people say that he didn't reach his full potential. So it's always a case of what could have been. That's the case with Rooney. So yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Moving on, Harsh Mali, I guess you have certain questions lined up.
श्रुति को कुछ बोलना था, वो कब से हाथ ऊपर कर रही है कि उसको कुछ बोलना है. श्रुति को बोलने दे.
I didn't know. I had a doubt initially when Sushant you were speaking, and when you kept saying my father or grandfather was a United fan.
Yes.
I just didn't know. Was there a team back then which called Leeds United, which was also like a huge
it was a Leeds. Yes.
Sad at that time to be a fan, because my father was a Leeds United fan. I remember.
Leeds United. I remember. When Premier League started, Leeds United went down there.
Yeah. No, that's what. So when you kept saying your father was a United fan, I was like, oh, which United? Because
there's only one United. I'm offended. Come on.
Leeds United.
There's only one United.
I just remembered that name, and I remembered that अपने पहले वाला generation was a fan of that team at one given point
No,
of
no, no.
time.
That's very true. That's very true. You know,
Yeah.
Manchester United or Manchester in general has got a huge rivalry with Merseyside and
course.
teams besides
Leeds.
that. For a
Yeah.
fact, Leeds,
Right.
Liverpool, Everton.
Yeah.
You know, it's a history lesson,
Yeah.
and that can be incorporated for another podcast. Let's not, dive into it. We can move.
I didn't say about how I got into football.
Yes.
Go
Sorry,
on, go
Shruti,
on.
you can go on. I completely forgot.
Okay, I will tell you. In school, I was a huge Neymar fanboy, but I had no idea what he was doing. Okay, I just knew he was really hot. Then cut to 2019 Premier League. No, La Liga. 2019 La Liga. Finals was Atletico was playing one match against someone, and Madrid was playing some match against someone. There were two matches going on simultaneously, and I remember that Atletico needed to win that match, and Madrid needed to lose that match in order for Atletico to win the cup. And that was the first match कि मेरे को खेलने जाना था और मेरे कॉलोनी के सब बच्चों को फाइनल्स देखना था. तो जैसे डिस्कॉर्ड करते हैं, लॉकडाउन नया जस्ट स्टार्ट हुआ था, तो डिस्कॉर्ड वगैरह का कॉन्सेप्ट जस्ट आया था. They said to we are Discord पे हम देखो समझाते हैं कि कैसे what is going on. So that was the first time, that was the first match that I saw, La Liga 2019, when Atletico won the cup, where we were watching two matches simultaneously and I was being told क्या हो रहा था. So because that was my first this thing, I was full hala Madrid कि Madrid ही जीतना चाहिए. And then eventually people were like, don't pick a team so easily, there has to be an emotional connect to your team. So I took a year's time. I saw all teams play some kind of matches here and there. And turns out that all the legendary players that I ever liked, whether it was Beckham, whether it was Zlatan, or let's say Ronaldinho, or my all-time favorite Neymar and Messi, and everyone turned out to, at some point in their career, play for PSG. And then I ditched Madrid. And then Madrid ditched us
फिर मैंने जर्सी
in
खरीदी.
Champions League.
I was about to say कि you are about to say
फिर मैंने जर्सी
Barcelona.
खरीदी.
Like सारे players जो इसने बोले मेरे को लगा बार
हाँ
रोनाल्डिनियो,
तो
ज़्लाटन,
बारसा
नेमार.
PSG तो मतलब ऐसे it's like
मेरे को लगा
all
बारसा बोलने
United
वाले
fans
हो.
at some point also
Yes, I was.
Juventus and
I thought that she might
ऐसा.
take Barca's name, but then she said Beckham as well, and I was like, नहीं, Barca तो नहीं होगा.
हाँ नहीं मतलब PSG और Barca is also, it's like it, whoever supports Barca also is a PSG Barca
Yeah,
ऐसा. जैसे United और अपना अभी Madrid और let's say Juventus का सीन है.
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. नहीं वो रोनाल्डो फैन वो रोनाल्डो फैन बॉय.
हाँ ठीक है.
मालूम नहीं इसने कुछ बोल नहीं रहा श्रुति. तू भी कम ही बोल. ऑफेंड होंगे ये लोग.
Actually, I had a question for you football fans.
Okay.
अब जैसे NBA में होता है कि you support a player and not a team. And it's very personal to people who watch NBA कि वो player के हिसाब से their favorite team changes. But in football, the concept is entirely opposite, where your entire emotion lies with the team and not with the player.
True.
Like, how do you all feel about that? Like, what is your take on just supporting a team irrespective of who's playing for it or how the team is doing at a given particular time?
प्रणय भाई
In
आपका
football also, I'm saying in football also it's very similar because most of the people who support a particular club is because they like a particular player. I think I mean not a percentage, but I think 8 out of 10 people whom I have in India I've spoken to, it's because they like a particular player, and that's the reason why they started supporting a club. So like you said, you like Neymar and he used to play in XYZ club, so you're saying you become a fan of that. Me personally being Sam, although he didn't do well, but I used to like Samraz and I started supporting, and it goes on. Like for Ronaldo fanboys, it's the club that Ronaldo plays. For Messi, it's the same thing. So it's
eventually when the player leaves, does the emotions remain the same for the club, or does it?
I don't know about that, but I mean, let's say I haven't had that feeling, but emotion does remain. Yeah, I mean, because see, I am a big time Ronaldinho supporter. Like for me, he's the greatest of all time. So I have some, yeah, I mean, even I went to PSG, and there's this mural of Ronaldinho outside the stadium. So I had a chance to get a picture of it, and it's like almost my like lifelong dream that I meet Ronaldinho once in my life, and that'll be the end of me. Like, this is my life's purpose, is just to meet him once, and that is it. So I would say it's not about, for me, it's again a very situational question, and the differences between from all the fans. But I would say, even if you like a club, now you're supporting the club, it's not just because you support one player, then you get emotional to other bunch of players around him as well. So let's say a lot of Ronaldo fans love also Bruno, when he was at United,
Right.
and all mixed
Right,
reactions
right.
on that. But I don't think so the feelings go away for if you become fan of a particular club. So yeah.
हाँ, सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये था कि इंडिया में अभी क्रिकेट का ऐसा हो चुका है ना कि क्रिकेट बहुत फेमस हो चुका है, फुटबॉल उस लेवल तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहा है क्योंकि उतनी मार्केटिंग नहीं हुई है, या फिर जैसे कि अब उतना लेवल नहीं पहुंच पा रहा है। मतलब जितने क्रिकेट फैन है उतने अब फुटबॉल फैन नहीं है फिलहाल करंट सिचुएशन में, जबकि काफी मार्केटिंग हुई है। मतलब अभी काफी राइज हो चुका है, पहले इतने फुटबॉल फैंस भी नहीं हुआ करते थे। तो तुम लोग को क्या लगता है कि कब तक इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप में रिप्रेजेंट करेगा फुटबॉल में, और कब तक मेन स्ट्रीम हो जाएगा फुटबॉल इंडिया में बेसिकली?
You want me to answer it?
Yes, sure.
हाँ,
ऐसे clockwise
okay.
चलते
See, ISL, I would say, I would partially be very contradictory here. कि ठीक है, ISL ने काफी it has at least given some culture to Indian football. Like, I can see some culture building. I mean, पहले भी था, like in Kerala or cities like Kolkata, Odisha, like these, or these metro city, even Mumbai as well. They had a good footballing, I'd say, football heritage. They had, but ISL was something that really amplified it, because इससे पहले I League में there was no really big players, or जैसे ISL में there's always marquee signings. So Del Piero, Roberto Carlos, and some of the legends have actually paid. Although they've it really doesn't matter at what age that they've played. But in India, it's all about Shosha and that Bollywood factor ki bhai jo dikhta hai wahi bikta hai.
Exactly.
So those players coming to India, and people are just watching them. Even if I say even if Ronaldinho did come to play some futsal league, but even if he joins today at 40, absolutely finished, people will still watch ISL. And like, we are at a very different stage. Like, we still are trying to develop a culture where people get to watch more football. So for us, that system works. But even though they have able to do some part of it, they have actually failed to build an infrastructure where we get to see even like academies में कोई भी ऐसा मेरे को improvement नहीं दिखा कि we are getting ऐसे कुछ talents जो हमने पहले ना देखे हों. We are a population of almost 1 billion, but the infrastructure is absolutely at a very sad state, and most of the money, we all know, has gone because of corruptions at AIFF, the budgeting issue, and whatnot. So that is also there. So it, again, like I mentioned, it's a very contradictory part to say ki, what exactly state are we in football in India right now. Even I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel it's shit. So so yeah. And now coming to the question about India playing the World Cup. See, I'll be very honest. I think in 2007 or 8, I used to go. So in Delhi, there's this Ambedkar Stadium. So I used to go and watch, games of India there. So Nehru Cup used to happen there, and I used to. मेरे को सिर्फ एक ही नाम पता था, Baichung Bhutia, and that is it. So I used to just go watch. And for the 2007 kid, like a 10, 14-year-old kid, for him it doesn't really matter. So I used to go travel and watch the games there, and I used to just wanted to see like what happens. So Nehru Cup mein I used to go and watch India, and we won few games. We beat Thailand, teams like sub-Asian countries. We used to beat them, some African countries as well. And in 2010, I used to think, yeah, maybe in 2018, India can play the World Cup. Like we are winning few games, and we will do it. And ऐसा हर एक को एक फीलिंग रहता है ना कि यार 2018 क्योंकि 10 साल है यार, 10 साल में तो हम कहाँ होंगे. So in 2010, 2011 when I used to go and watch India play, I used to think यार 10 साल बाद तो यार मतलब वर्ल्ड कप तो हम खेलेंगे ही खेलेंगे. But to be very honest, the kid in me in 2012 and the adult in me in 2022, now I actually realize the Indian football dream is still very, very, very far away. And I hope someone proves me wrong on that. I genuinely feel that someone comes and proves me wrong on that. But I generally don't believe that we will be even, be close to, the football that even Korea plays, or let's say China plays, or, Japan plays.
True.
I mean, their leagues are just way, way too ahead. Like they've got all the infrastructure in place. They have VARs, they have everything. And we are just struggling to even get people in the stadium, so we are at and every year that passes by, the gap is going, the bridge is becoming very big. One end you have Indian football, and one end you have, let's say, I'm not even comparing European football. Yeah, that's way too above. I'm just talking about smaller
Asian
countries
football.
like Asian football. So we are even to bridge that gap, it's a huge, huge void to fill. So I just believe that, now, since I think few recent developments have been made, there are few people who have initiated, and the politics issue and all of that, it has been taken out of IFF. Although it will exist, and it is bound to exist, because of course India है तो politics तो होगी. But I am very hopeful कि शायद अगले 2 साल या 3 साल में things will start to get there are at least some improvement. So that is my stand on it, man. Although we did very well in the Asian Cup qualifiers, अभी तीनों
Yes.
match हम जीते भी. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
But to be very honest, I think with the challenge is still far ahead, man. We are not even close when we compare it to teams like Korea and all of these teams. Like Korea knocked out Germany, man, in 2018.
2018. Son Heung-min.
I mean, yeah, so they know, like, that is the quality that they possess. So even when you're talking about Asia, एक हो जाता है कि चलो Asia है, but they still knocked out the German champions out, man. So even to be best in the Asia, we have to play against the best in the Asia, and we have to beat them. And that, I think, is a still far, road. It's a very, very long road ahead.
True. Yes.
Okay, I have slightly different insights. See, the thing is, I don't know much about football, but here's what I feel about the Indian football. Firstly, कि जो क्रिकेट फैंस हैं वो सिर्फ वर्ल्ड कप नहीं देखते, वो आईपीएल भी देखते हैं, वो टेस्ट सीरीज भी देखते हैं. They see all forms of cricket. Similarly, the football fans, the Indian football fans, have to realize that they have to at some point encourage I feel like it's not like we don't have talent. Like Sunil Chhetri literally overtook Messi to become the second highest international goal scorer. So it's not like, I mean, there are quite a few people who can, and there's also a lot of stigma associated with where my child is going to go beyond a certain point in football if parents have to push their children to make football as a career. Similarly, the government also doesn't see football as an upcoming source of revenue for them, which is because probably Indian football fans don't realize that there is a certain hype that they need to create about Indian football or Indian Football League itself. So in order to push or encourage, Indian players to, or the sport to come up to a certain level. So I feel like it's going to take a lot of effort from every aspect. It's not that we're lacking in one area. It's like a cycle, and everyone has to play a certain part to push it up. Like, usually like cricket fans, they watch all types of cricket, including Test Series, World Cup, and IPL. But football fans only watch Premier League, Champions League, FIFA, but they forget कि अपना इंडिया का भी लीग चल रहा है या कौन खेल रहा है. So I feel like there's a certain barrier that we have to overcome there. And talking about India playing FIFA, we did qualify. If I'm not wrong, we did qualify for
Yeah, way
FIFA
back in
once
60s
before.
and 50s.
Right, but Indian players wanted to play barefoot or something. So, and this is what I've heard. I'm not too sure how if it's true, but Indian players wanted to play barefoot, so they were not allowed to play
We
or something like that. Then one story says that Indian Federation thought that Olympics was way
Yes,
more
exactly.
valuable
Yeah, that's
than
the story. Yes.
FIFA. So
Yeah.
again, they were not allowed to play. So there is a lot of stigma and a lot of barriers that have to be overcome. But it's not like we can't do it. I have a lot of hope from Indian football that someday it will, once it is in the league, it is going to do wonders. But hoping someday soon, let's see.
Yes. I'll say my answer is going to be very optimistic as well. It might sound optimistic, but we can play World Cup, but it's a very long journey, and we have to, things have to fall right. Things have to fall in the right places in order for us to qualify for the World Cup. World Cup is a very, very how am I supposed to say this? It's not realistic right now for us to think about India playing World Cup. First, we need to
It's a
focus on
far-fetched goal.
yes. It's first we need to think about qualifying for the AFC championships, and then going in quarterfinals, then semi-finals, because India as a society is very result oriented. We are very result driven. कि करके बताओ फिर देखते हैं. Even cricket didn't pick so much traction in India before the 1983 World Cup. People started, I want to be Kapil Dev after the 1983 World Cup. In order for football to have that moment, we need to do something. ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसी capabilities नहीं है. We are a country of 1.3 billion people. Of course, we can find 16 players who might be able to compete at a world stage. But at the same time, वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें कुछ तो अचीव करना पड़ेगा, so that we could show कि हाँ हमने अचीव किया है, हम कर सकते हैं. Give us a chance. People in India need to realize कि football as a sport, हम बहुत पीछे हैं, पता है, यूरोपियन कंट्री से. यूरोपियन तो छोड़ दो यार, हम साउथ अमेरिका, एशियन कंट्री से भी बहुत पीछे हैं. हमें रियलिस्टिक होना पड़ेगा. अभी हम सोचेंगे कि AFC चैंपियनशिप जीत जाएंगे या वर्ल्ड कप के लिए क्वालिफाई नहीं होने वाला है. वो रियलिस्टिक रहो और क्वार्टर फाइनल तक टीम को जाने दो, सेमीफाइनल तक जाने दो, फिर शायद चैंपियनशिप जीते हैं. SAARC चैंपियनशिप भी अब एक्सिस्ट नहीं करती है यार अच्छे से. हमें बहुत कैसे कहें, शांति से, पेशेंस के साथ में इस चीज को देखना पड़ेगा. एंड एज फॉर वर्ल्ड कप, मैं ऐसे कोई डेट नहीं दूंगा, बट मेरे जिंदा रहते तक हो जाए. जब तक मैं जिंदा हूँ, मैं बस देखना चाहता हूँ कि एक बार इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप खेल ले. I'll be happy, I'll be content with it.
Well, actually हमारे पास चांस था यार, द वुमेन वर्ल्ड कप जो अभी मुंबई में हुआ था, बट थिंग्स डिडंट गो एज पर प्लान बिकॉज अगेन पॉलिटिक्स एंड because of our federation. I mean, we had the best chance to play in the World Cup. Our women's team did pretty well in the first match.
True.
And we could have done it. But क्या बोले?
क्या ही बोले. Even under 17 World Cup, which happened in 2017, if I'm not wrong, 2017 or 18.
Yeah,
What was that year?
2017.
2017. I was in school.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, Angel Gomes, all of these players who are big names in England right now. They played there. I was like, यार इंडिया भी किसी दिन वहाँ होगा. But unfortunately,
I mean, there were few players who did impress, because and ऐसा बहुत सारे ऐसे in the past you will get a, अभी भी अगर 1 साल या 2 साल या maybe even 3 साल की news निकालो तो let's say our under 15, under 17 teams have beaten some of like Brazilian under 15 teams. Like ऐसे करके results बीच में आते रहते हैं. But that's like once in a blue moon, man. Like that's once in a blue moon that we get those chances. So but again, in terms of competence, I think under 15, under 17 may, we are at the same. Our players have the almost same level of skill set.
yes.
One of the players that I want to give shout is Dheeraj Singh, whom when the under 17 World Cup was happened in India, so I had a chance to go watch that game. And India also scored in the first World Cup goal ever in that game. And I saw Dheeraj Singh as a keeper, and dude, that guy was just so amazing. Like, he he almost felt like I'm watching Neuer in front of me. Like his one pass, and the ball was straight at the half line,
Wow.
and the saves he made. I mean, it's just amazing what he can do at the age of 16. So I really, even today, I still, I still feel that he is one of the players that can go play in Europe. He also got a chance to play for Motherwell FC. Like he gave trials at Scotland, but again, work permits and all of that
Hmm. Yes.
shitty things happened, and he's still playing in ISL. But I am a firm believer that ठीक है अपना own league होना important है, but in order to be best, I think our players need to have an exposure outside. क्योंकि भाई इंडिया में तो थोड़ा ना वर्ल्ड कप होने वाला है. It's always in the, ठीक है, एक मिडिल ईस्ट में अभी हो गया, but you need to have our players need to have that physicality and that mentality कि बाहर जा रहे हैं तो सर्दी में भी हम उतना खेल सकते हैं कि नहीं खेल सकते. So that is I mean, that is where the line draws, man. And like I said, there's literally no difference. It's just about the infrastructure जो हमें improve करना है. So yeah.
Pranay bhai, as you have raised this point in one of your videos that Indian government should promote or allow Indian players to have dual citizenship. Do you think doing that might help the scenario a tad bit? Do you think that might be a case that can be
I mean,
considered?
of course, man. There's like a lot of Indian origin players जो बाहर खेलते हैं. There's Dilan Markande who plays for Blackburn. He was in Spurs, but he's playing in Blackburn. There are other few players, Jan, who used to play for Liverpool. And ऐसे बहुत सारे और भी players हैं जो there's Bayern Munich का एक player है Singh. I think he got loaned down to some other German team. But I mean, there is some pretty much of Indian talent coming out, Indian origin talent in Europe who plays. So of course, not demeaning, but they don't have a chance. They are not competing against the very best. England के 11 players में तो तुम team में जगह नहीं बना सकते.
True.
But someone like who's Dylan, he can, if he has chance to play for, if he has dual citizenship, he can play for India. And his standard of game would be, of course, be better par than a lot of ISL players. I know, like, it's a very controversial statement to say, but I somehow still feel that, because if you see African teams, you see all the, even you take out even France की team, यार, most of the players are African players.
True.
It's just that they pick out the talent कि कौन से बढ़िया players हैं और उनके basis पे वो उनको pick करते हैं. So in order to us also to have a better a better team, we should allow dual citizenship. One, for the fact is, of course, जो Indian origin player खेल सके. And the second is, like, there's this rule that I also explained in the video, which is the La Liga. You can only have like 5 players in the squad who are
Yes.
non-European players.
True.
So now imagine someone who's like, I'm saying, who's like the best player in India. मतलब सबसे talented अगर तुम निकालो. Let's say Chetri prime at 22. ठीक है. Again, if he goes to Spain and he's competing against players like Brazilian players, Argentinian players, मतलब जो who are at their extreme, मतलब तुम Vinicius से compare कर रहे हो, तो वो तो नहीं हो सकता ना. Like that situation can't arise. And so ज़्यादातर इसीलिए सारे, even Messi is half he has taken Spanish citizenship.
True.
Just because of this rule, because the clubs also prefer कि यार if I'm registering only 3 non-European players in the non-squad, तो अब Vinicius, Militao के आगे और Rodrigo के अलावा तुम compete नहीं कर सकते for any young Indian footballer. So if we had dual citizenship, so someone like, let's say, Chetri at prime could still make that squad. Maybe he won't play, but he's of
We
course
still would have a connection.
तो प्रणय भाई, मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था कि ऐसा कोई फुटबॉलर है क्या जिसका फुटबॉल करियर छोड़ के उसकी पर्सनालिटी या फिर उसकी कोई लाइफस्टाइल या लाइफ उसका आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता हो, ऐसा कोई पर्सनल फेवरेट?
For me, if you ask me personally, I think बहुत सारे प्लेयर हैं यार, जैसे मेरे को बेकहम बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है. So
Yeah, I love
you know,
Beckham.
one of the, I think, true fashion icons of अभी भी यार, मतलब I still remember 2019 की शो यूनाइटेड की, शायद जो एक होम जर्सी थी, बहुत सारे लोग उसको वो कर रहे थे कि it's very bad, and then Beckham wore it and it became in fashion. So and of course, I mean, personal life में तो of
Beckham's
course
family life, Beckham supporting F1, everything people like Beckham is everywhere. It's not just
Yeah.
football. People sometimes forget he became famous through football, and
Yeah.
all
Beckham
the
किया
other
तो सही होगा.
Hashtag no homo when I say this, but I'd bang David Beckham. Unironically. Okay, Shruti was saying something. Hello.
I love Zlatan personally. Everything that he does is too funny. Okay, there was this one story. So in US, there's a tradition that when two sportsmen, like legendary sportsmen in their particular sport, are in the same state or city, they tend to exchange jerseys as a sign of respect.
True.
So एक बार क्या हुआ था कि Zlatan and LeBron James were in the same city. And so LeBron James very kindly sent his jersey to Zlatan as a mark of respect. Ideally, what Zlatan should have done was send his jersey back. But Zlatan ने क्या किया? LeBron James का jersey पे autograph करके उसी का jersey उसको वापस send कर दिया.
Yeah.
And that became a huge controversy that time. It was too funny. Like when I heard this for the
Peak
first time, it
Zlatan.
was legendary moment.
Peak
So
Zlatan.
Zlatan has many stories where like he's done some ऐसे कीड़े उसमें बहुत होते हैं कि वो कुछ ना कुछ तो करता रहता है to be this thing.
You don't compare Zlatan with humans. Zlatan is a lion. He's a leon.
That.
Okay. My story, I mean, I'm a United fan, so this might be coming, but I am a huge CR7 supporter. Like huge CR7 supporter. Not just because of the fact that he's one of the GOATs, but besides that, his work ethic, his discipline, his sheer will to, win games at his disposal, and the responsibility which he takes when the team is, going downhill, and the sheer leadership which he has. And, मैं एक पर्सनल स्टोरी बताता हूँ. जैसे क्रिकेट में यू हैव गॉट विराट कोहली एंड यू हैव गॉट सचिन तेंदुलकर. The same goes for Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano, when he arrived at the top level in football, he wasn't as gifted as Leo Messi for say. He's standing at that point because he worked hard. He worked his ass off to be there. If he can do it, then other players can do it too. So अब मेरा story ना यहाँ कहाँ जाता है कि I was preparing for some XYZ competitive exam and I sucked at mathematics. And Ronaldo का ना just transfer होता है United, and I started watching Ronaldo के पुराने वाले videos at that point of time so that I could experience the nostalgia, because I was way too young when he used to play for us. So I came across this video where he said कि I want to be the best, and I arrive at the training earliest and I leave the training ground the सबसे आखिर में. And I was like, if this guy can do these things each day, every day, 24/7, he hasn't consumed salt and sugar for the last 13 years. Can you guys believe that? How is that humanly possible to do that? Then I realized कि मैं मैच में टट्टी हूँ, लेकिन मैं इस इंसान की जितनी तो मेहनत नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन 2 घंटे तो रोज के मैं भी लगा सकता हूँ. So I started, having this relatability factor with the CR7. Ki hard work, sheer discipline can, take you to places. And for me, that's why CR7 is the GOAT. Not in terms. Sorry.
I'll second that to this question with respect to कि उसके लाइफ में लोग इतना इंटरेस्टेड है कि उसकी गर्लफ्रेंड के लाइफ पे अभी नेटफ्लिक्स ने पूरा सीरीज निकाल दिया है.
It's keeping up with Kardashian 2.0.
Yeah. So that's how interested people are in his life, even outside football.
True. CR7 ultimate GOAT. Sir, आप देख लो किसी दिन. आपको समझ में तो नहीं आएगा.
If you're watching.
Yeah. True. Harsh, तेरा कोई ऐसा
what are your most annoying moments as like a particular team, like let's say I support PSG or Brazil for let's say, तो मुझे लोग बहुत याद दिलाते रहते हैं like Brazil Germany 7-1 या फिर PSG Barca comeback, और ऐसा कुछ मतलब they keep reminding you of all the legendary matches but terrible for your team or terrible for your country kind of this thing. Or let's say as simple as your team bashing it is कि memes भेज दिए या oil classic को बोल दिया types. So what are the most annoying moments that you have encountered as a supporter
मैं
of your
यूनाइटेड
respective
फैन हूँ.
teams there?
I'll rest my case. मैं यूनाइटेड फैन हूँ. 2022 में मेरे को कवर में चले जाना चाहिए. इसके आगे कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा मैं. हर्ष माली, तेरी टीम की जिसकी तूने जर्सी पहनी है भाई, वो क्वाड्रपल जीतने वाली थी. अभी मालूम है तेरे को?
मुझे नहीं मालूम है, मैं तुझे ट्रोल करने के लिए पहना हूँ. जितना होता है, तुम तो राइवल है इसलिए पहन के आया.
Pranay, so anything you have to say?
In terms of like what you want me to answer in what, क्योंकि बहुत सारे आंसर हो सकते हैं इसके, तो कि ऐसे कुछ पर्टिकुलर
मतलब सबसे आपको जो इरिटेट करता है, जो टिपिकल मॉकिंग ऑफ मैनचेस्टर सिटी.
नो सीएल.
UCL man, UCL of course.
नो सीएल.
मेरे को लगा कि शायद इस साल जीत जाएंगे, फिर वापस हार गए 89th मिनट पे. Although we played good game there. And I think Sher, it's unlucky. It's the Yaya curse. I genuinely believe that it's the Yaya curse, man. Because how can like
a team like City not win Champions League?
Not winning Champions League is just beyond my woe. But ठीक है. UCL final last year we Pep did overthinking. उससे पहले aggregate का situation, then the Raheem Sterling VAR situation. Spurs wala game, that was one of those seasons that I genuinely believe that City will again a final खेलना तो हमारा बनता ही था. But उसके अलावा भी यार, I think it's the UCL that I get the most. And every year when someone asks me how many titles City wins, I'm like, this is the year that we're gonna win the title. So
it's always this year.
That is
it's usually the Madrid fans. It's always the Madrid fans who ask how many titles.
It's all the fans. It's all fans. It's United. It's all the fans, because a quality like City, we should have genuinely won the title. I think even in the last last season, Chelsea won it, in the final. But I genuinely believed that we should have won that game. Like, we should have won that game. And Chelsea were no, even in the Premier League, we in every season Premier League we are beating clubs twice, or we are just taking it by 10 points. I mean, Liverpool से तो एक point से हम जीत रहे हैं, but almost 10-15 points का gap पिछले 5 सालों में तो था ही था. So to have that much quality all through the season, it requires, if you're not a good team, you cannot do it. Or if you don't have a vision for a team, you can never do it. But a team like City, again, इस साल hopefully हम शायद जीत जाएं. And I believe कि Haaland आ गया है तो and इस साल तो शायद
भगवान हमको 10 गोल नहीं खाने.
मेरा एक जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन कि मैं ज्यादा फुटबॉल देखा नहीं हूँ. अगर मुझे स्टार्ट करना है फुटबॉल देखना, तो मुझे कौन सा लीग से स्टार्ट करना चाहिए?
प्रीमियर लीग.
कहाँ से?
प्रीमियर लीग.
किसको
सपोर्ट नहीं है प्रीमियर लीग में, बट
it is the must watch.
और किसको सपोर्ट करना चाहिए?
नहीं, वो don't start.
वो तू खुद कर. वो तू खुद कर.
वो अपना चूज कर लूंगा ना.
हाँ.
मतलब वो
I sort of
eventually you have to ऐसे कोई एक टीम मिलना चाहिए.
नहीं, मुझे लगा तुम लोग कन्वर्ट करने का कोशिश करोगे कि देख मेरा टीम.
नहीं वो ऐसा होता है, वो पर्सनल चॉइस से आता है. ऐसा वो हैरी पॉटर में होता है ना, हाउस जो तुम्हारा टोपा चूज करता है, ये हफल पफ है, ये स्लिदरिन है, वो वैसा है. वो इंटरनली आएगा तेरे को ये टीम को सपोर्ट करना. आई लिटरली हैव अ फ्रेंड हु स्टार्टेड सपोर्टिंग आर्सेनल very recently, like a year back or something. So you should start supporting your own team by watching them. और प्रणय भाई, आपने अभी जो
अंडरडॉग टीम आल्सो यू नेवर नो विद फुटबॉल. कौन से साल में कौन सा टीम परफॉर्म करता है.
Let's go 2015.
Too much hopes you don't have, United. Please keep your hand down. Sushant and Harsh, I'm very sorry to sabotage your podcast, but I have one more question.
अरे मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है, श्रुति को गेस्ट बुलाओ. श्रुति हमसे अच्छे क्वेश्चन पूछ लेती है.
वो हमारी पॉडकास्ट में हम टेक ओवर कर रही है. तू इक्विटी ले यार 1/3.
हाँ
अरे नहीं, मेरे को जानना था अभी, जैसे all sports has certain superstition, है ना, और सबकी कुछ पर्सनल स्टोरी तो रही होगी सुपरस्टिशियस। जैसे मेरे को चेल्सी का कर्स बुलाते, ठीक है, मैं जब भी चेल्सी का मैच देखती हूँ, चेल्सी एक गोल नहीं स्कोर करता, बट द मिनट आई लुक अवे और आई लीव द रूम, चेल्सी स्कोर्स अ गोल। चेल्सी is a beast, nobody is denying, but somehow when I'm watching, Chelsea doesn't do shit. Okay, I'm sorry Chelsea fans if you're watching, but yeah. So, like, do you all have any superstitious associations to certain things when you're watching football? ऐसा कुछ हुआ है कभी की? Or some curse, like अभी FIFA में भी there are so many, like there are so many curses that people talk about. Like, does something specifically fascinate you or
मेरे
something that you
साथ
like
में
to believe? क्योंकि almost true ही निकल रहा है ऐसा.
हाँ, I do have a story like that. You know, a lot of United matches are hopeless these days, in complete honesty. but when I watch the match live, United haven't lost a single game. यूनाइटेड मेरे को अपना चाम बना लो, तुम पैसे दो इसके मेरे को, ठीक है जी, जब भी मैंने तुम्हारे मैचेस देखे तुम्हारे नहीं हो. So this has been the case from the past couple of years. Whenever I've seen a match live or whenever I've seen United play live, they haven't lost a single match. Like, draw तो अलग है, वो तो हम तो करते ही हैं. लेकिन हम हारे नहीं है, हम कभी नहीं हारे.
Nice.
So that is
That's a good reason to support United also. You're their lucky charm.
प्रणय भाई.
पर्टिकुलर तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, बट या आई मीन आई थिंक मेरे साथ भी कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, लाइक इफ आई एम वाचिंग अ गेम एंड देन यू नो सिटी इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग वेल, ऑल्दो ऐसे बहुत कम चांसेस होते हैं, सो आई जस्ट स्टॉप वाचिंग एंड आई एम लाइक ठीक है, अभी मैं सिर्फ स्कोर यू नो फीड में मैं देखता रहूंगा कि अगर कुछ हो रहा है ट्विटर पे मैं देखता रहता हूँ. बट आई मीन ऐसे बहुत डोंट फॉलो वन एनी इन पर्टिकुलर, ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है.
True.
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन है, तो तुम लोग का कुछ है क्या पर्टिकुलर कि एक गोल जो तुम लोगों ने देखा वो बहुत अच्छा लगा, एक पर्टिकुलर गोल किसी ने मारा हुआ?
बहुत सारे हैं
यार. अभी चैंपियंस लीग में बेंजेमा ने जितने भी गोल्स करे ना पीएसजी के अगेंस्ट, वो सारे बहुत ही अनएक्सपेक्टेड थे और बहुत ही मतलब गुस्सा भी आया था, बट इट वाज आल्सो लाइक हाउ डिड ही डू इट, लाइक किंग बेंजेमा, रिस्पेक्ट टू दैट मैन, नॉट जस्ट अगेंस्ट पीएसजी बट जितना मैड्रिड को इस साल उसी ने जिताया, उसने सिंगल हैंडेडली ही कैरिड द टीम. आई थिंक
It's Madrid. Champions League at Madrid are a bond made in heaven.
Yeah, true. But this year Benzema was just on fire, dude. All the goals that he did or scored were just
True. मेरा ऐसा कौन सा गोल था? 2011 City versus United, Messi, Rooney overhead kick. Best goal for me.
That's one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the best goals. Even one of the best goals that I've seen. No, and that's one of the reason उससे पहले भी आया. I used to, you know, the thing that Rooney used to do with ball. I don't think so any player in modern football can do what Rooney has done. Yeah, there's no one can actually replace him.
Another shout out to Van Persie's 2014 semi-final flyer. Y'all remember that header?
The header, yeah. Flying Dutchman.
Absolute banger. Absolute quality.
Yeah.
I saw that live.
Yeah.
Nowadays I see a lot of these, like firstly my biggest regret is not watching football at its prime. I started very late, to be honest, but it's never too late. But of lately reels pe bahut you get to see all these goals or these legendary moments in matches. आजकल Instagram पे हाँ reels पे दिखते रहते हैं from the past की जो हुए थे, तो I feel like I've seen that particular incident that you were talking about. I'm not sure if it was that only, but ठीक है, मेरे को लग रहा है कि देखा सा लग रहा था.
अरे वैन पर्सी को ऐसा पीछे से क्रॉस आता है एकदम और गोल में गिरता है, एंड वैन पर्सी इज लाइक फ्लाइंग और वो हवा में हिट करता है बॉल को एंड इट गोज इनटू द गोल.
या देखा.
यस, हर्ष माली हैज सीन इट.
Beautiful.
श्रुति
मैंने देखा, तो मतलब है अच्छा, फेमस है.
उसने देखा है.
हर्ष ने देखा है, मतलब सबने देखा है.
हाँ, मैं लास्ट बंदा हूँ जिसके पास वो वीडियो आया होगा.
ट्रू.
आप प्रणय भाई, आपका कोई ऐसा फेवरेट गोल?
मतलब जो मैंने लाइव देखा हो So live, though, I think it was the Aguero moment, yeah, because I certainly didn't.
Oh my God.
Beauty.
Yeah. And Abhi recently, I would rate the Gundua goal also
Gundua
because
goal. True,
of the situation it happened. But if you ask me, like the all-time goal that I have seen, it is like a multiple of goals, which I think Ronaldinho scored at Santiago Bernabeu. He's one of the players who got standing ovation
Is this
at the
2005 if
Bernabeu.
I'm not wrong, right?
2005, yeah.
Yes.
So that performance is something that is like the goated. Like, yeah, I mean, the sheer quality of that you're getting standing ovation at the Bernabeu is speaks a lot, because
True.
no one can ever get it apart from Ronaldinho. So
True.
that being said, yeah.
Absolute magician. Absolute magician. True.
You know, the Aguero goal, I actually had seen it on Reels only first, and then I went back to see the match, actually how the match proceeded. But
वो गोल से मेरी बहुत साफ memories है, लेकिन ठीक है. We thought that we won the league, but here comes Aguero with his Aguero.
you all had a similar reaction like the commentator.
No, seriously.
No.
True.
Yeah.
I guess we've got enough content.
अगर सुन अगर तुम
This
लोग
is a
अपना
never-ending topic, yeah. Football, matlab, even if you don't know much, you can still end up discussing so much.
Yeah, true.
अगर you can make parts. Part 1.
अरे मुझे बोलने देगी. ये कह रहा हूँ कि अगर तुम लोग अपने जो टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहे हो उसको अगर सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे होते तो कौन सी टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहे होते?
That's a good question.
मतलब
लोकी अगर सुशांत बोल दे कि भले ही मैं मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का फैन हूँ पर अगर मैं इसको नहीं करता तो लिवरपूल का करता.
तू मर जाएगा मालूम. तू अभी मर जाएगा मेरे हाथ से.
ऐसा कोई है क्या अगर अपनी टीम को सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे होते तो किस टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहे होते?
मेरा बहुत सिंपल सा आंसर है इस चीज को. हर कोई अज्यूम कर भी लेगा, लेकिन मैं पहले बाकियों को बोलने देता हूँ, उसके बाद मैं बोलूंगा.
श्रुति बोलेगी जहाँ भी नेमार जाए.
नहीं, बारसा. If not PSG, Barca.
True.
100%.
Pranay bhai, say Barca as well, I am assuming.
Yeah, I would say Barca, man. I mean, Barca is still my second club. That that is the club that I think everyone, if you're a Premier League fan or even any other club, fan, एक La Liga club तो तुम support करते ही हो, if and same the otherwise. A lot of Barca or let's say Madrid fans support, let's say XYZ team in a Premier League. And see, and I say this very very openly because for Indian football fans, our situation is very dicey because क्या होता है कि we see Europeans and we're like, okay, we are associated with this club, but the thing is not that you're not born in that particular city, or you're not born in, let's say, Barcelona or Manchester, so it becomes your one hardcore row. You are in Delhi or you're in Bombay or you're in Bandra, you're supporting XYZ club. So whatever makes you feel good about football, just watch that team and support that team. It's as simple as that.
True.
So yeah. So in terms of that, I would say Barca, because that is again the player connection, and Barca or Real. I like both of them. Yeah, I like Real Madrid, man, because of Beckham. So either Barcelona or Real Madrid. It's a very controversial statement to say, but yeah.
Luis Figo. Shout out to Luis Figo.
Yeah.
My answer would be Real Madrid. It was very, how am I supposed to say this? पता ही था लोगों को यही बोलेगा ये. But it's not because Ronaldo or Beckham or anything like that. It's because of Iker Casillas.
I love that guy. Yeah.
I absolutely adored Iker. He still resides in my heart. No homo.
Only for Beckham.
Yes. Even I'm wearing his jersey. Beckham, if you're seeing this,
please do contact.
That's true. I think even all Barca, I don't know. For me personally, I fell in love with Barca during Pep Guardiola's time only. Funnily, I watched his time football much later after his time of football. But what he's done to that particular team during that era was insane. Every player's growth. I don't know if it's a controversial topic again, but I love him.
True. Pep is goat, yeah. I mean, I will rate him as high as so Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson has to be the goat manager, but Pep is not far off. Pep isn't really far off. He has done it in every league. People, discredit his achievements because of the fact that he has managed big teams, but at the same time, United has been spending money here and there. Like literally, we have been spending the same amount of money, if not more than City over the past 8 years. But it's not us achieving the same results, is it? It's Pep.
Yeah.
It's Pep taking the best out of the players. So huge respect to him. Huge respect to him. And I guess we've got enough content for the podcast. It went well.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a great time. I hope y'all had too.
Yeah.
बहुत मजा आया मुझको बहुत मजा आया and I'm seriously so happy Pranay bhai that you took your time and considered doing a podcast with us, even though you're married, you have got your own life and all of that. I'm very grateful that you came out.
इस चीज के लिए तो time ही time है.
I'm so glad that you could do that. Seriously.
Thanks, man. Thanks for calling me up. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I mean, it really feels great. When I see a lot of young people making content on football, because this is where I believe will make a change, in the society. It may be like 10 people, or even for me, when I started, I didn't care that if how many people are watching my content or XYZ. But for me, all it mattered was, if even 10 people can watch this and just a little bit of impact here and there happens in their lives in terms of football, that is then my success, is there. So so yeah.
Shruti, would you like to add something?
Firstly, thank you for having me. It was great meeting you, Pranay. I'll check out your channel instantly. I don't know much about football again, so in case if I've said something that's not true, just sorry guys.
It's okay.
And it was a very
Nobody's
fun podcast.
perfect.
And
आधे
nobody's
podcast में
perfect.
वही बोल गई पता है आधे podcast में वही बोल रही थी still she's saying like I don't know much about football. Irony much?
I wanted to, I'm sorry for sabotaging your podcast and ज़्यादा cartoongiri कर ली मैंने. I just got too comfortable in the space, but it was a very fun podcast. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me again. And
Harsh Mali 50% के मालिक.
और अगले सीजन में फिर हम एक पॉडकास्ट करेंगे फुटबॉल के ऊपर, तब मैं भी कंट्रीब्यूट करूंगा अच्छे से.
बस लिवरपूल
आऊंगा मैं
का दो
वापस.
ना फिर मैं तेरे साथ
आऊंगा मैं
पार्टनर
वापस. चेंज कर दूंगा बस. आऊंगा मैं वापस.
हम होंगे बेटर और हम आएंगे वापस. True. All right, people. I had a great time. I hope you guys had too. I hope that listeners or watchers or anything, wherever you're seeing this, I hope that we could provide you with value as well. So, bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Record.